Hello everyone, today I'm going to do a quick and easy painting tutorial to paint yellow ships, or yellow in general, but I'm going to paint this battleship in this color scheme and show you how I paint yellow. A lot of people have problem with yellow, but there are rather easy ways to do it. So first of all, I start with the metallic paint. I'm going to paint everything that is metallic in metallic. I am using this speed paint pen from Army Painter, polished silver. You can use any speed paint basically that is a metallic speed paint. I have used them for this fleet project, and I will continue to use them until I'm getting bored of it. But basically it's just metallic paint in a pen, which is interesting. I do like these pens, but after some time in painting very textured things, the tip gets a bit frilled, but you can still manage. And I don't care if I go over some parts where I don't want the paint actually, because I'm going to go over it with yellow anyway. I'm just keeping the big panels free of paint. And as you can see, the speed paint metallics even go over black quite well. I primed the model black and then I did a white prime over it because I want some darker color in the deepest recesses that helps me with shadows in the long run. Just like that. So I go around now and do this for the whole ship, and I'll be back when I'm done with this. Okay, I'm done with blocking in the metallics. You can really use any metallic contrast for that. It is not mandatory to use those pens. I have them because I got them in a painting competition as a prize and I wanted to try them out, so I use them now. And as you can see, the tip gets frilled very harsh after using it on a more structured model. The tips are turnable in, so you can put them the other way around and you get a fresh tip. And if you get a set, you get extra tips. But don't go and buy them just because I use them. Use any of them. There are some outliers though, as with every hobby product. Some are great, some are bad. I will use a lot of them in this painting video, but you could use just contrast paints. The green one, the red one, and the blue one is great for picking out lenses, engines, and stuff. That's great. I like them for that purpose and that purpose only, but you could do that with normal contrast paint as well, and you would probably have maybe even a better result in the end. But that's how I use them. I'm done with the metallic now, so I put that away. And now I will go in and use my naan oil, and I will wash everything that is metallic now. Just give it a quick wash. Big brush. It dries. The one thing that I like about those pens is that the paint dries very quickly, which is something rather special for a contrast paint. But now I will just go through and I will wash the metallic to have more depth on them. So I will go around, do that now. watch out so it doesn't pull too much, and I will try and keep it off the white. But if it's on the white, it does not matter all too much. But if you can, keep it off. After that, I will leave it to dry for a bit, because as everyone knows, washes do tend to take some time to dry properly. And then I will go back in, do some highlighting for the metallics, and then they are done. And the highlight will just be a dry brush, basically. I will show it when I'm at that point. And I forgot some turrets here, which I want to be metallic. So I'm going back with the pen and just dot them in. That needs to dry now for a bit, but I will wash the rest of the model first, come back there later. So I will do this now and I'll be back in a minute. The metallic took me like 10 minutes to block in, so it's really, really quick. Be back in a minute. Okay, so the wash is dry now, and that's how it looks. And now I'm going to use some Stonewall Silver and a dry brush. Pretty beat up, but does not matter. Give it a quick shake. I need a dry palette. Just for dry brushing, I have a old plastic dry palette. I put the paint on. And now I will just dry brush the metallic parts a bit. And again, I don't really care if I hit some of the white. Paint for the underside. And there we go, that's the metallics done. Quick and easy. There's no need to do anything more with it. Now I'm going to do the engine. I have one of those paint markers again. This is Magic Blue Army Painter. You can use any blue contrast, but for this I do like the pen, because I can just do this. And that's done. I will do a small highlight later, but I think that looks great. And I have the red one as well. This one is also quite good for things like lenses. For example, which ones do I want to paint? I want This one. Over the metallic it looks quite good, in my opinion. Some slight gem effect. And I think I will do the torpedo as well. That is actually quite the nice color. With that you could paint some candy red. So if there are some Thousand Suns players out there who want to do candy red, use this. And I think I will do the lenses here. Like this. I want this ring of the torpedo as well in red. And those are the lenses here. And I'm going to pick those two out as well. Down here. Only the bottom two. And this lens. This lens. And that is actually where those pens are kind of shining. That's nice. I do enjoy that look. But now I'm still going to do a little highlight. I'm taking some Evo Sun Scarlet. Give it a good shake. And that's just for the front of the lenses. As a little highlight. Make the lenses a little bit more opaque towards the front, and I'm going to use it on the torpedo front as well. Like that. And for that ring, also I completely forgot that I want to paint the missiles in red, so I need the marker again. to highlight that as well. My Evil Sun Scarlet. Doesn't even need to dry fully, as I don't mind if it mixes a little bit. So I get a quick blended effect. And as those missiles are pretty big, we give them a second highlight with Wild Rider Red. Give it a good shake. We have a vortex mixer that helps quite a lot. Grown used to it. And again, that's just for the utmost tips. I'm going to do the same for the torpedo in the front. Just like that. I'll leave that to dry fully and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so the rockets are now dry, highlighted and look good to me, as well as the torpedo, if the camera would focus on it. That looks good to me. Now I will do a little bit more to the engine. I have some Baharov blue on my palette. I fill it down with some water. And I will just use it to camera. Stop. Thank you. To just fill this middle part in. It is very strong now, but when it dries, it's very watered down, so as it dries it will be less stark. And I also go some highlight here, some highlight here, here, right there. That's it. That's the engine. And now for the yellow. You can use any yellow speed paint. It does not need to be perfect. I'm going to use this yellow speed paint pen. Again, you don't need one, but it's fine if you use one. Use just speed paint. And this is going to be the first coat of a speed paint. And it won't look good, and that's fine, as that is part of the plan. But it will give a solid undercoat for the rest of the yellows I'm going to apply. So I will go around and do all the armor plates in this yellow. Just like that. Does not need to cover perfectly, just cover every armor plate with the yellow. That's the important part. So that there is paint everywhere. If it spills on the metal, it's fine. You won't see it really in the end. And you can always use some of the silver to work out the yellowishness if it bleeds over. And as you can see, it does not cover all too well, but that's absolutely and completely fine. I do not care, and neither should you when you're painting yellow. It's just another color, and treat it like one. It's not your worst enemy. It's just a paint that needs a different approach than all the other normal acrylic paints you probably know by now and use a lot. So I will go through now and do this on the whole model, and I'll be back when this is dry. It is important that it is dry because we are going to layer over this, and if it's not completely dry you will reactivate the paint, and that's bad. So let the contrast paint dry completely. I'll be back when this is done. Okay, so I'm done with the contrast stage now, and as you can see it is very splotchy. It's not perfect by any means, and that's what I want. Why are we doing this? Well, there are a few things that this does for us. First of all, in other model communities like historicals and such, this is called pre-shading. What I'm doing is I'm establishing a base color, a base tone, and the contrast gives me the shadows I want in between the panels, which is quite nice. This is just the first coat, and it is basically a foundation for the yellow. Yellow doesn't cover over white, yellow doesn't cover over black, but it covers well over other yellows, even if it's not an even coat. So do this and then paint yellow on top of it. Yellow also works fine with a brown, a light brown. You can put a light brown down and then go with yellow over it. But I prefer yellow contrast. It makes my life easy. Now I take some Avalon Sunset. You can use any darkish yellow for this next step, but basically this is the color of the ship that it will be. I put this on my palette, just like this, and then I will use my size 1 brush and take a little bit of water in my brush so it's kind of wet and damp, a little bit more water than you would think, and then I am going to mix it in with my yellow. And as long as the brush does not frill, you're fine. If you have too much water in it, it will be very, very big, and then you just go over some paper, and then as you can see it is thin now, and that's the paint consistency I want. I go by the brush and not by the paint itself. If the brush is widened, it's too much water and I take more paint into it. And now what I'm going to do is basically I'm going over all the flat panels, and as you can see this covers quite well. So that is going to be the paint of the ship now. I'm just leaving all those nooks and crannies here. I just paint towards them but not into them. If you do your paint mixture right, it will be fine and it doesn't flow into there by itself. It will stay on the surface. And as you can see, with this you can cover the model quickly. So the contrast step took like 10 minutes and maybe 5 more to dry properly. And now this will take some time, but not that much, as you're just going over plates basically with one coat. It is very, very easy. And as you can see, this unifies the color pretty well. This is what I painted now. Compare it to this. When this is dry, it is a very, very good solid coat of yellow. I will go through and do this for the whole ship, because not painting on camera is a bit easier for me. And I'll be back when this is done and dry. Okay, as you can see, this is how the ship looks now. Wait a second, that's not right. This is how the ship looks now. And you could leave it at that and continue then with the edge highlighting, but I'm going to go a step further because I want this to be brighter. But as you can see, the color is very solid, works fine. With some edge highlighting, this weirdness that is in between the panels will disappear because your eyes will focus on the edge highlight and not on the lighter parts in between. But I will go ahead and I take some Arial yellow and basically do the same again, but lighter in application, just for some more brightness on the yellow. Like that. This whole layering took me like, I think 25 minutes. And I think this will also take 25 minutes because it's the same again. But on any other model that is smaller or let's say Space Marine sized or whatever, this would take like 5 minutes maximum to do. But as this is a battleship for Dropfleet Commander and those are in fact quite big, it takes some more time. Yeah, so I will go around and do that now, and I'll be back when I'm done with this. Okay, so I'm done with the yellowing now, and as you can see, it is a lot brighter now. And for the last step, I take Dawn Yellow, and this will bring everything together basically. And I will just edge highlight the ship panels. To take a proper look. And don't worry if your lines are not too straight, just go back to the last color you used for layering, and then you can work the highlight back a bit. Also, I'm going to highlight all those little details just with a little bit of the Dawn Yellow. If you spill some paint into one of those crevices, just dampen your brush and pull it out. Just like that. I just noticed that I forgot to edge highlight on one edge on the other battleship. I'm going to do that now real quick. Okay, that's done. Yeah, and as you can see, this brings together the whole paint job. And I will continue to highlight all those panels. This is rather time consuming, but it will finish the ship and I'll be back after doing that. So after edge highlighting everything, this is how the ship looks now. And we have another one of my yellow resistance ships. And as you can see, the yellow looks quite nice with the highlights, and it wasn't hard. It took me like around 1.5 hours to paint the full ship, and I think it looks great. Thanks for watching. Bye.